Joining me now with reaction is former Secret Service agent and NRA TV contributor Dan Bongino, Fox News contributor, former Clinton pollster Doug Schoen, and author of the upcoming book Mad Politics, Keeping Your Sanity in a World Gone Crazy. Member of the Donald Trump for President Media Advisory Board, Gina Loudon. All right, I'll start with you, Dan. What is happening to the left? I mean, sometimes I feel like, is it me or are these people, have they finally flipped their lid?
No, this is the Democrat for the last 20 years. This has been the Democrat Party. Now, they've been pretty good, Judge, over the last 20 years, politically, tactically speaking, of hiding who the left really is. Donald Trump has brought out from them in his refusal to apologize and his doubling down, which I like when he stands on principle, this anger and rage in them. And with this leftist ideology that is all about the acquisition of power, they've lost the House, they lost the Senate, they lost the presidency. They're now losing the battle for the courts. All they have is aggression and confrontation. This is just a natural outflow of their ideology. They just can't hide it anymore.
And Doug, you know, you're a Democrat. I mean, you worked with Democrats. You worked with the Clintons.
Yep.
Do you want to get rid of ICE?
No, not at all. Look, I have no problem if there are ways to look at improving ICE, potentially reforming it. But for goodness sake, we do need border security. And I'd be the first one to say that what we need is real immigration reform, border security, potentially the wall, in exchange for guaranteeing a pathway to citizenship for those here and protection for the dreamers. That's real immigration reform. It's demagoguery to say just get rid of ICE.
And you know what's interesting is I think the president offered that, the 1.8 million DACA, you know, the path to citizenship. All right, Gina Loudon, you're a psychologist. Are they nuts or are people believing in this?
Well, I would certainly thank the same people like Doug here who are Democrats. There are a lot of them left, by the way. They just get pushed aside because the leadership has acted so diabolically toward the American public. They have no issues. And the thing they never seem to want to think about is where their suggestions end. Exactly where does Maxine want this to end? Where is she willing to draw the line? Is there going to be another Steve Scalise? God forbid. But look what happened with Rand Paul this week. This gets scarier and scarier. This is very real to the people being threatened, and it needs to stop now.
And you know what? I think we've got some video of Scott Pruitt being approached in a restaurant, the EPA director.
This is my son. He loves animals. He loves clean air. He loves clean water. We deserve to have somebody at the EPA who actually does protect our environment, somebody who believes in climate change and takes it seriously for the benefit of all of us, including our children. So I would urge you to resign before your scandals push you out.
I can't imagine being at a restaurant and somebody coming up to me, I don't know, saying, I would urge you to resign before your scandals push you out. Dan Bongino?
Yeah, you know, to the Democrats out there watching, I don't know why you think this is helping. I mean, listen, I get it. I am absolutely unequivocally for the big R right to assemble and petition your government. The lady was peaceful. She didn't attack him. You know, that's fine. Do what you want to do. But what I don't understand is they're usually smarter than this. The Democrats have politically outmaneuvered us for a long time. Do you actually think this is helping? Confronting a guy in a restaurant while he's eating and telling him to resign? I mean, it just looks silly and foolish. Go do what the Tea Party did, organize, and win some elections. And this is just absurd. It's not helping.
You know, Doug, as I was watching Pruitt, I mean, he looked pretty, you know, didn't move him a bit. But, you know, you've got Pam Bondi, who's the Attorney General of Florida. They're spitting in her hair an inch from her face while she's in a movie theater. Sarah Sanders, Kirsten Nielsen. What do you say?
Well, first, I'm a centrist. I believe in civility, compromise, and reasonable approaches to politics. And I wish I could disagree with Dan and Gina, but candidly, as a Democrat and as a patriot, I have to agree. This is ridiculous, counterproductive behavior. I wish they would just stop and act more like Connor Lamb, the newly elected congressman from Pennsylvania, in disavowing this kind of behavior. being willing to compromise and work with the president, and most of all, approaching things with civility, grace, and decency, putting America first.
And Gina, I mean, what do you say to women who are confronted like this? And it seems like it's not going to end. Confronted by the left, I mean, a woman who's alone. Pam Bondi was approached by guys. She's with her boyfriend, okay? But if you're alone in a restaurant, what do you say to women in a situation like this?
I really don't have answers for them other than I believe that this lies in the hands of the responsible party. For example, with the GOP that was vandalized, the GOP office that was vandalized, I believe it was just this week. How about the DNC offers to pay for the damage that was done? Let's start extending some hands. The president has offered, as you mentioned, path to citizenship for more than 1 million of the dreamers. So how about the other side starts to offer a hand, and we start to work together at least on the issues we can agree on, like the three of us have done here tonight on this panel, the four of us rather, which is a pretty good bipartisan mix.
All right, Gina Loudon, Dan Bongino, and Doug Schoen. Go ahead, one more. Go ahead. Did you want to say something, Dan? I have like 5 seconds.
No, it wasn't me. That was Doug. I cede the floor to Doug.
I was saying it's 3-1, but we all can cooperate. We can all agree, and we build a better America by doing that.
Indeed, indeed.
Amen.
All right, still to come. We have